Everyone who's in the world today was sent here for a greater purpose. That doesn't mean they'll do great things. It just means they'll carry out something they did not invent for themselves. Because God redeems the separated by giving them something important to do that matches their nature and their design and their skill set. In order to do the thing that you were given to do, however, you need to be connected to the deeper knowledge within you, because only it knows what it is, how to find it, and what it means. To do what you were sent to do, then, requires that you begin to re-engage with the part of you, the deeper part of you, that is still connected to your source and to those who sent you into the world. It's a really clever scheme to re-engage you with the truth about who you are by giving you something important to do. Because the world is a place of doing. Where we have come from is a place of being. It's important to experience being while we're here, but it really is a place of doing. So God gives you something important to do. The only difference is you didn't make it up. Nor did you get it from culture. Nor did you get it from religious teachings. Nor did you learn it in any kind of educational process. All your attempts to identify yourself and to give your own purpose to your life, your own work to your life, your own meaning to your life, will never really be what this is that's deep inside of you. Waiting for the time when you will reach the maturity and the readiness to begin to discover it. Not simply as an answer, but as a journey. To a different place within your mind, a different place perhaps even in the world. It's initiated by two forces. One of the forces comes from beyond you. The angelic presence triggers your awakening through means that we cannot understand or identify. You see, most of who you are can't be seen. Just like love cannot be seen, it can be demonstrated powerfully. It cannot be seen. A relationship cannot be seen. It can only be demonstrated. Two people being close together may or may not be a relationship of any value or meaning. Who we are cannot be seen. We live within this shell, this vehicle called our mind and our body, but we exist on another plane altogether. So the new message teaches us that though we live in separation and though we've come into form as individuals and we identify ourselves as individuals and we live within kind of an enclosed system of our own thoughts and beliefs and responses to life, the deeper part of us is still connected to our source. It never left. We're here as a wandering soul, wandering in the universe, the soul being the part of us that is wandering in the universe, but the deeper part of us is still connected. However, it goes with us everywhere we go. And it alone holds the key to who you are, what you're here to do, and who you're really destined to meet. Because these things are not part of culture or religion, at least the surface of religion, because there's something you didn't create for yourself or borrow from someone else, people are very distrustful of this. There's a reason why the inner life was discouraged for worldly people in most of the great traditions. if not discouraged, at least not offered with any kind of serious intent. There's a reason why the way of knowledge was left out of the Quran and the Bible. Not by the messengers, but by those who seized upon their work and their life and their examples. What initiates us is not some magic potion or secret formula or strange script or recitation. It is something beyond us that re-engages with us. And that begins to bring an end to our totally isolated, separate existence. This is initiation, but it's not initiation into a higher level of ideology or a higher level of belief. It's to reinitiate us or to initiate us into a deeper relationship. And that begins to fracture our shell, our personal shell, our isolation. So confusing, it's not easy. My God. Many people just run away at the first sign of it. Try to reassert themselves, try to reestablish who they thought they were. But you know, the people undergoing real initiation would find that very hard to do. Because when God strikes you, God really strikes you. You see, the journey is not just giving over your power to God. I'm going to have God lead me in everything. God will produce miracles for me. God will open the way for me. That's spiritual welfare. God sent you there to get those things done. The things that you can't seem to figure out, but which live within you and have gone on this whole journey with you until such time, should you reach the level of maturity, honesty, and humility, that you may be able to discover these things. And that is when the rays of initiation will shine upon you. You don't have to be special or magnificent. Very ordinary, actually. If you're ambitious, you will not be chosen. If your life is about self-assertion, self-fulfillment, self-aggrandizement, you will not be chosen. This is very important. The people who seem to be bold and daring and magnificent, they will not be chosen. Heaven knows who is ready. Heaven knows who has a chance to be successful. Not a certainty, but a chance. If they can follow this journey that this initiation will set out for them, which takes them in a different direction, establishes a different foundation within them over time. After they've gone through a period of confusion and disassociation about what's happening, if they will follow that, then a greater certainty within them will begin to become apparent to them through demonstration. So part of the initiation is being struck from beyond by the angelic presence. Not by a guru, not by an avatar. They don't initiate. Sorry. It's from higher powers. I do not initiate. Heaven initiates. No ceremony will initiate you. No arduous spiritual practice will initiate you. It must be from those who sent you and who watch over you. They have the reality that you're going to discover from that point on, should you continue and be successful. The other part of the initiation is knowledge within you, which responds and confirms what is happening to you. This gives you the power to follow the invisible light. This is what discourages you from trying to establish your own philosophy or understanding or someone else's in order to explain this mysterious experience that you're having. This is the power that holds you back from doing reckless things. It has been holding you back all along from giving your life away to people, places, and things that do not represent your real purpose or destiny. And though we may not heed that restraint, it is still there. Everything you've done in life and not done in life, its only importance is whether it can bring you to this point of initiation from heaven's standpoint. I say this because this is revealed in God's new message for the world in great depth. And it also tells us the criteria for discerning the true person who's been initiated from one who only claims to be so, who seizes upon this as an opportunity to assert themselves or to establish themselves in the world for their own personal gain. There's some interesting things that will give you a clue as to discern who is a true initiate, who is a true teacher. Who represents the will of heaven and who represents themselves in the name of heaven. In life, there's the true physician and then there is the false physician. There's the true artist and the false artist. There is the true servant and then there is the untrue servant. Every role of any value has both the true and the false that are manifest in our world. And false just doesn't mean cunning or deceitful. It can simply just mean ignorant. Our spirituality isn't an aggregate of spiritual ideas, spiritual behaviors, even spiritual practice. It's the reinitiation of a core relationship that we have with our source and those who sent us. It is the return to relationship. What else could end separation but the return to relationship? So, redemption is really the return to relationship, established on a true foundation, without personal ambition, without people using each other as resources. A natural and purposeful engagement. It's not focused on personal fulfillment, but ultimately on service in the world. Service to others, service to life. The false initiates will always proclaim themselves with pride and self-assertion They will claim a greater association. They will claim that they speak the words of divine power and significance, and that they have passed through many levels and stages to be where they are. They will proclaim themselves. The real initiate will not do this unless asked to do this. But they themselves are humble people. They do not seek glory or recognition. They don't want people to be attracted to them because of their appearances. They'd rather be the plain cup instead of the silver chalice. They're simple, uncomplicated, willing to follow, willing to not know where they're going, but responsible for what they do and not simply passive in their engagement. Everybody wants to be special in this life until they see that they're here for another purpose. And spirituality gives people tremendous opportunity to assert themselves as being special, as being experts on the divine. Whatever we may discover or know about our spiritual foundation, we will never know how God works, really. So what religion can claim this as an exclusive right, an exclusive privilege, in a universe of 1 billion races and more, with countless religion, who has a religion that's the one religion? No religion can claim to understand the work of the divine in physical reality. So people develop cascading levels of ideology, metaphysical understanding. But it's all in the mind, you see. It's not happening at a deeper level. You know, the people who have really been struck in this process of awakening, you can tell they've really been through a lot. It has worn them down, not built them up. It has stripped away what is false within them, not added the false to them. They have become more simple, more basic, more connected, more relational, instead of someone who seeks to establish themselves in their unique position. They do not speak with pride. This is so very important to understand, because we can think we're undergoing through a process of initiation, but I can assure you that you can't really say that until the evidence of it is proven. Because real initiation here means you will be struck to your core, to a depth you didn't even know you had. It's not going to be some wondrous, pleasant, effervescent experience. It's going to blow you away, either all at once or bit by bit. That's how powerful this is. No person has this power. There are gifted teachers. There are skillful practitioners, but no one has this kind of power. So the true respondent then learns to become ever more humble, and yet gains greater strength while they do so, greater competence, greater responsibility for their life and affairs. They realize that God is not going to take care of everything for them, as if they're some wandering child. God will lift them up, but only in a certain way, only within the context of relationship. The true respondent will always feel like whatever they may discover, whatever truth they may come upon, whatever skill they may develop, is only because of the sacred relationship they're in. It is the relationship that now becomes significant, not the person. So the new message teaches there are no great individuals, there are only great relationships. I had to sit with that for about a decade to see if I could fathom that. Not by trying to understand it, but by walking around it and being with it. See, greater truth is never understandable in the moment. That's the shallow stuff. The big stuff you have to live with and walk around it frequently because it's bigger than you are. You're called for a purpose, to be in the world for a special role, which was the role you were born with. And now you have reached a point of readiness or a point at which others who you're destined to meet need you for this kind of event to happen. Something is beyond our visual range. We don't know that we're part of a greater coordination. We think it's all about us and what we're going through and our enlightenment and our fulfillment and our happiness. No. This is about something else. You are a participant. You are not the main attraction. I, as the messenger, am a participant. For the message is always more important than the messenger. Something that religions and people over the centuries have misunderstood. So the messengers are worshipped and their message is forgotten. So there is a kind of sobriety here that is actually very important to recognize. And you will realize that something big is happening in your life, even in the initial phases of it emerging. And you won't be able to understand it because you can't understand it. Until you travel this journey, you will not really know what it is. And you have to give it time to take you where it wants to take you, because that's on the other side of the mountain from where you are. You can't see around those corners. And it's better that you're not, because if you could see where you're going, you might feel tremendously inadequate and want to run away. Heaven needs to know that you're willing to take this humble journey without asserting yourself, without trying to turn it into some kind of profitable enterprise, without trying to become a superstar. I'll tell you something else that's really interesting about the new message. It says there are no masters living in the world. So what is mastery? It talks about advancement. Oh yes, it does. But not mastery. Everyone who's still in physical life is still a student of life at this level, even if they become a great teacher. This levels the playing field and begins to create an alternative to the false assertions and the mistruths that abound everywhere. It's a very kind of contaminated environment, spiritual journey. So what I'm telling you here today can help you discern the true from the false. The truly initiated and those who only wish to be so. And within yourself, it becomes a measure of trying to understand what's going on in you. Is this just happening in your mind? You're going through a transformation of understanding? That's not true initiation. To the self-assertive person, it looks like it is. They think it actually is. This hits you so deep. You'll stagger with it for a while. Heaven gives you time to do that, and to wander, and to try to see if you can come around to it. In this way, we're all being tested. There's no assurance we can really do what we came here to do. To have that level of engagement, and humility, and relationship, service. We have to prove that. The potential's there, yes. But we still have to prove it to ourselves and to those who sent us before greater things are given to us. That makes sense. Someone may claim to know the wisdom of the universe, but can barely function in their own life. Claims are easy. True accomplishment is not. So I want to give you this understanding because it's important for you to know what is real from what is only unreal. Because we live in a world where so much is unreal. There's so much copying of the truth. So much misuse of the sacred texts. There's so much assertions about the former messengers. How do you discern the gold from the dross? The true thread, the golden thread from all the coarse material around it. It appears to be golden. This is wisdom. With power comes responsibility, humility, and wisdom. They all go together. Power without these things is a personal endeavor only. There's a greater gift awaiting you, and if you are beginning to feel the stirring of its emergence, then allow this to happen. Do not define it. Do not go to your friends asking for explanation. Let it happen. It might be scary only because it's powerful, but it's entirely good if it be real. And how do you know if it's real? Because knowledge within you will allow it to happen. In fact, knowledge within you will be part of the whole process of it happening. Because heaven doesn't seek to bring you to heaven, it seeks to bring you to knowledge. Because knowledge holds for you why you're here, what you're here to do. And that represents your engagement with heaven in a practical, meaningful way. Only God knows how it works. And it works. May this blessing be with you. Nuova Vita.